We have Mr. Arvind Joshi, the whole-time director at Sandhar Technologies, joining us. Mr. Joshi, thank you so much for coming on board. Now, to start with, I want to understand about this new JV that the company has formed with Winnercom. This is primarily in the connected car devices market. Now, you're a player who primarily has been operating in the two-wheeler space. You're one of the leaders in that space. Tell us, what's the rationale behind expanding in the four-wheeler market? Is it because the two-wheeler space is, amid a slowdown? Is there any impact in the pipeline that you're assessing that you want to diversify further or perhaps increase your exposure to the four-wheeler market? Okay, I think we'll have to once again reconnect with Mr. Joshi. We seem to have snapped that line. But for now, the reason why we wanted to essentially talk to Sandhar Technologies is because they've recently formed a JV with a South Korea-based firm. It's called Winnercom. Okay, I think he's back with us. Mr. Joshi, want to understand about this JV that you formed with Winnercom. This is in the four-wheeler market for connected car devices segment, essentially. Can you tell us the rationale? Why is it that, a company like yourself, which is a leader in the two-wheeler space, wants to now explore the four-wheeler market? How's the demand scenario?
Yeah, thank you so much. We have been playing on the theme of diversification while we remain a dominant player in the two-wheeler segment. We have been able to expand our revenue from the four-wheeler business to almost about 30% of the total revenue. Winnercom joint venture is our attempt to make inroads into the passenger cars in a deeper way, come up with futuristic products, expand the market, and also increase our presence into the auto electronics through some of these JVs, most of them being the Korean JVs. Of course, shark fin antenna, micropole antenna, these are all part of our attempt to be into the futuristic product range, which would cater not only to the electric car vehicles, but also ensure that as and when the autonomous vehicles comes into play, we would be one of the players also feeding into the vehicles. Telematics is going to be the mainstay of the auto components industry going forward. And I think we are rightly placed at this point of time to enter into technology joint ventures which could last us for more than a decade.
Okay. Can you talk to us about the reason essentially behind why you want to diversify? Because we've been interacting with several component players, especially who have a fair amount of exposure to the two-wheeler market. We want to understand, is it because the industry seems to have hit a massive slowdown? Do you believe that even going forward there are some hiccups, some road bumps which could actually add to the pain? Or just want to get in clarity on that front, because four-wheelers is something that essentially you have a very, very small exposure to.
Yeah. So, this is part of our long-term strategy. Whenever we go in for investments, we always look at the longer time horizon. We always believe that if you don't prepare ahead of the capex cycle or ahead of the technology, you would be left out as a company, especially in the auto component space, where the competition is very fierce and the demand from the OEMs to come up with technologically higher value-added products and evolution in the product technology is becoming one of the mainstays. So unless and until the company prepares itself much in advance, we would be left out. And I think this has been going on for last several years now. Even though the downturn is there, but the downturn does not affect the long-term strategy of the company, which is to continue to collaborate and get the best of the technologies for the major OEMs in India. This also helps us in terms of ensuring that the localization, indigenization program of the OEMs, the company is able to participate in the same and thus get the benefit out of it. We have always ensured that we support our OEMs in terms of indigenization of the components, and this also augurs well for us, as it would continue to help us in terms of helping the indigenization, localization program of the major OEMs, global OEMs.
The market is pegged to be worth $57 billion by 2021. Mr. Joshi, what is the kind of share are you eyeing within the connected car devices market back home?
Well, it's too early to say at this point of time as to what would be our pie, but certainly we are working on several other telematic components also. We are also into the parking sensors, park assist cameras. So many of these things which will get integrated and embedded with the technologies of the future for the automotive cars. It's too early to say what pie we would get, but certainly we would target each and every of the major passenger car OEMs within the country.
Right. What do you think about the two-wheeler market? Can you just talk about the trends in the two-wheeler markets? How do you see it, especially after the elections?
Well, I think, the biggest trigger would be, of course, the budget announcements, which people are eagerly waiting for. The next, I think, the macro factors, especially on the rural demand, which is subdued and which is getting affected in a big way, is something which needs to be seen, how the budget props them up and supports the rural economy in terms of income supplements for the farmers. I think that would be the biggest trigger. Having said that, I think major OEMs are all geared up in terms of ensuring that the BS6 compliant vehicles get onto the road much before the due date. And also with the new models getting launched by most of the OEMs, I think we are just about a couple of months before we see the whole auto sector turning around itself in a positive manner.
Okay, Mr. Joshi, thank you so much. Great chatting with you about what the company is planning to do going forward and how the demand scenario is also likely to play out. Sandhar Technologies, meanwhile, is quite muted in trade today, down by about 0.2% odd.